Hello and welcome. My name is Rob and I'm from that channel Performance Check, and I decided to go live to say, hey, I'm chilling out and I thought I could hang out with some of my crew on AmTab. Do people use the word crew anymore? I don't know. Anyway, I thought I'd hang. So what I'm going to do is, whilst I wait for people to join, I'll do a brief channel update. And I then want to pose a question to you guys in the community because I need your thoughts. I want to consume your thoughts. Um, so let me see. I have an itinerary. My goodness. So yeah, channel update. I didn't realize this, but um, I accidentally forgot that Performance Check has been going for a year, and that's crazy to me. It's crazy to me in two ways. One, because it doesn't feel like I've been doing it that long, but also it feels like I've been doing it longer as well. It's a very peculiar feeling. Um, and I am planning on doing something. I have actually missed the day uh, that Performance Check turned one, and I'm going by when I first released the video rather than when I created the channel. I think I don't know. That's how I'm counting it anyway. Um, so yeah, that's something. What else has been going on with me? So that's right. I shouldn't have made an itinerary because I'm just going to keep checking it. I should have just riffed. So I've got a few videos lined up that I'm going to be doing. Um, the first one is going to be regarding relationships with NPCs, and how to make them come across more organically in a session rather than it feeling forced. So that's something that I'm working on. I'm also going to be doing a video about legends and their effect on your role-playing game world. That is also something that I'm working on. I've decided to start focusing on more edited content because I think, generally speaking, I get my points across better uh, in a short form format than if I'm just on a stream rambling for ages. Oh my goodness me! Did you see that? Something just floated across the screen. I'm house sitting for a friend at the moment. A different friend. I've been house sitting all over the shop lately. They have a cat who is, because it's summer now. Like I say summer, the version of summer that happens in the UK. Um, there's a cat that's sort of molting to get its summer coat. So there's just hair everywhere. It's like walking through a blizzard at some points. It's crazy. But what was I saying? So yeah, that's what I'm basically going to be working on. In addition to that, I'll be doing something uh, for the Lorekeepers in a little bit, um, which is going to be interesting. Lorekeepers Chapter 7 was the other 2 weeks ago, I think. Uh, yeah, it was recently. That went pretty well. I really enjoyed that latest session. It it went in a very different way to what I thought it was going to. So check that out if you haven't yet. So I'm gonna just start talking about the topic at hand, the reason why I've done doing this stream. Uh, Starts with a bit of a story. So my friend, because I've moved cities quite recently, I'm now in a city called Coventry, and there is a place in the centre of Coventry that is called Fargo. It is a basically a creative community. It is a small village of small businesses and creative enterprises and things like that that basically work together to like make the city a better place, which is great. And one of the things that they have there, they have all these really unique places that you can go visit. But one of the things that they do have is this really cool retro gaming like bars. It's like a bar and that, you know what I mean? And my friend was in there the other day, and he texted me because he knows that I do stuff for YouTube and run games and stuff. And he was like, "Dude, you should do an event. You should start running an event in this place. It's perfect. You could really make a thing here. Like, I reckon you could do something with this, running role-playing games, and sort of setting up a kind of society there almost." I was like, yes, that's an amazing idea. So I said, right, dude, let's meet tomorrow. So I'm meeting my mate tomorrow, and we're going to bounce ideas off each other and start, working up a pitch to basically pitch to the owners, um, which thankfully are open to such suggestions, which is nice. I'm not going in cold or anything, but there we go. Um, and I thought, well, who better to get opinions from than the people in this community? You know, what would you guys like to see from a live Dungeons and Dragons event? Um, Now, at the moment, I'm thinking I'm just going to be running a game myself and getting other people to run games in it as well. But I thought there must be much more that I can do with this. And I thought, well, maybe it could be more of an improv thing. Maybe it could be a show, like I'm just basically trying to work some ideas up. So I would like to know what you guys in the community would want from a D&D event, Uh, for now, let's just say it's the basic, a bunch of groups just playing a bunch of games, okay? Like, what kinds of stuff would you want to see? Would you like it to be continued campaigns? Would you like it to be one-shots? Um, that I'd be really interested to know. Um, so I'm gonna have a sip of tea. Ian Christensen says from Fantastic Dimensions, "Hey man, how's it going?" He says, "Did you dye your hair?" No, I didn't dye my hair. So there's quite a large window here that is throwing quite a lot of light onto me, and it is showing you all the white in my hair. Um, I have had like white streaks going through my hair for like the past couple of years, so yeah, I'm just getting old. No, it's I've had it for a while actually, since I was probably started showing when I was about like 18, and like it was just one streak then, like that just went through my fringe. Um, so yeah, no, but I haven't dyed my hair. I've never dyed my hair. Uh, Marquis Hartis, my man, he says, it depends on the purpose and intention of the event. Are you trying to increase D&D player base, run an ad, raise money? I just want to run an event. I guess um, I don't know. I guess I could raise money from it, but I just like the idea of just having a popular event that people can attend, and people can have a great time. Um, and I guess introduce new players as well. That'd be a cool thing to focus on, perhaps. Um, and yeah, like I would love it. I would love. I don't know. Like I just like the idea of there just being a large collective where there's like a bunch of people running games in the one place. Like I think that's um, like like I say, like tomorrow is when I'm sort of working out this pitch. But I just thought general thoughts from you guys would be awesome. Would be really cool. Ian Christensen says, "Didn't notice it before. It's very distinguishing." No, thank you very much, man. Yeah, like it depends on the lighting, I guess. Like, yeah. Um, Lloyd, hey man, how's it going? Lloyd says, "If this thing gets big, I'll come over for next year's at Con EU." Yes. Well, maybe that could be it. Maybe that could be it. I'll ask the fellas and see if they want their flag on it. Marky says, "Games and fantastic food snacks are what the event needs. The better the snacks and games, the more traction it'll gain." Yeah, man. Like I was thinking, well, it could be a thing like the people at the bar can obviously they get out of it that people are there in their venue buying drinks, buying stuff. Like that wouldn't be my concern. Um, in a way, I kind of thought, wouldn't it be pretty great to not completely do this, but like do kind of like a world event, you know what I mean? So like there are say for instance I get lucky and I get the amount of people that I can have 3 games in, okay? So I would run one and I would speak to other people locally and see if they want to run stuff too. And I'd have it in the same place. Like I do it like the Greyhawk. There was a massive Greyhawk or was it hmm, might have been I can't remember, but basically it was a shared setting that Wizards of the Coast did, and depending on where you were when they did it in the US anyway. So Tim Carney has told me, depending where you were in the US, depending where in the world you were in. Now, obviously, we're all going to be in the same place, but like I like the idea of this being like I don't know, like it just being the one setting. Like I like imagine marketing it like you're all going to the same place. You're all going to the same world. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know if that's stupid or if I should just start just saying because like that's something that beginners probably wouldn't even understand. I don't think. I think maybe they need to be introduced to the game first. So yeah, see what I mean? I'm just riffing ideas. That's why I wanted to do this. Like what? Because I haven't really had the chance to speak to anyone about this until I speak to my mate about it tomorrow. So Lloyd says, I think you're better off with one shot since there's less commitment needed. Get GMs to run lots of different games, not just D&D. Focus on rules like games that people might not be aware of, as that takes less prep. Yeah, absolutely. Like, and that's a logistically, that is like a sound way to do it. Like, yeah, and I mean, you could just say, look, we'll start this as a one shot, but if people enjoy themselves and they want to commit to it, they can come back and stuff um, like I like the idea of having like a cast of people that could come in and out as well, a lot like the Drow game that Lloyd is doing at the moment as well, which would be pretty ace. Um, in then says an interesting alternative to one shots is the episodic series campaign. Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, like I love the idea that they could like it's kind of like a contained world where everything that one game is doing might affect the other. I don't know, like maybe that's probably too far down the road. I'm jumping the gun, but like I want this to be for beginners, but I would also like it to appeal to like veteran players as well. Like it should be for everyone. Um, and yeah, like I think this could be a really good idea. Um yeah, it would be good. Yeah, I mean, it would be great if I could like the other reason I mentioned it, I brought it up was because I thought, well, what if it was the other way around and it was actually like there were games and then there were like I don't know because it's quite like an artistic community. Like it's there's a lot of theatre that gets made there, a lot of live music that gets played and rehearsed and stuff in the and I'm back. That's weird. The internet in this flat is shocking. What was I saying? So yeah, I think those that's probably a good way to go. But I would be interested in hearing more thoughts. Like, what would you personally want to get out of an event like this? You know, for those of you guys, um, what would you what would you attend? What would make you want to leave the house to go to something like this? Yeah. Ian Christensen says, I have some experience with episodics for both beginners and veterans. We can discuss it live sometime. Dude, yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a great idea. We should do that. We should do something together. Absolutely. That'd be rad. Um, yeah, so it's difficult to know exactly like I think I want to keep it simple at first, like just have some people come and play games. Um, yeah, I don't know. Um, that's right. That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the sort of like a performative element to it. I don't know. Like, would that be if I got good enough players to actually do sort of like a live comedy event almost, where like I run like a comedy kind of game. Would that be something that you guys would go out and see, or would you prefer to just go to like a gaming session? You know, because I think both have their appeal. Uh, but yeah, like I mean, to be honest, I will keep like updating you guys if you're interested. You know, I understand if not. But if people are interested in hearing updates about this, I'll be happy to sort of do it because uh, I've run different events before. Like I've run sort of cabaret stuff in the past. Like I've done like actors labs and stuff like that. So you know, it's not it's not about the logistics of organizing it. I could organize it. I just need to know what it actually is. And I just want it to have a spark that makes it slightly different. I don't know. That would draw because I think the thing is like if it's just a gaming group, then people that want to play that people that play D&D will show up. I like the idea of introducing this to people that would have never dreamed of playing D&D, you know? Um, but I've heard of it, I guess. Um, so that's the thing. So Lloyd says, "Here's my take on the comedy thing. You need actors who are witty and want to perform." Thankfully, Lloyd, I have quite a few friends who are actors who I guess are pretty witty, so they'd like to believe, and they always want to perform. So um, I don't think that would be too much trouble convincing people like to do it. And like I could always say, look, ticket sales, you get a bit of it. That's a great way to convince someone, especially when you're just like going to play D&D. Can you imagine getting paid to play D&D? Goodness. Um, Ian Chris says comedy is tricky. When it's good, it's great, and when it's not, it's awful. Though I completely agree. I've been on the stand-up circuit myself. Not actually doing stand-up though. I did surreal stand-up comedy sketches with my buddy who owns this place that I'm in right now. Um, so I have experience with live comedy. So I think it's something that could be pulled off, but at the same time, it is D&D. So like, how much would you plan? How much would you just leave to fate? Um, that's where improvisation comes in. Increase says, I want to play Dread and Cthulhu live. Dude, yes. My goodness. Although with Dread, I think that would be unless everyone had a Jenga tower. I don't know. Lloyd says improv is great, but it's not always going to work, and there's going to be a weird pressure on the GM and players to be clever, funny, and quick. Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't. I think that's my. You know what? Actually, you've made a good point because that's weirdly my issue with Critical Role is that they seem to. Exactly what you just said, Lloyd. There seems to be a pressure on them to be funny and to be to get a laugh out of it, which I don't necessarily think is always the best way to go. Like it, people love it, that's great. But those are my thoughts. But weirdly, I like Acquisitions Incorporated, so I don't get why I like one and not the other. So I guess I'm just a big a big steaming pile of hypocrisy. Ian Christensen says D&D just doesn't generally do it for me, but I haven't been new for almost 4 decades now. That's fair enough, man. Like everyone has their own tastes, and I absolutely would probably. I mean, I mainly market the D&D side because, like, if I'm talking about just getting average Joes off the street to play a game, like I'm gonna need things that are familiar to them, and there's no arguing. Dungeons and Dragons is the most famous game, like by far. So that's that anyway. So if you have any further thoughts on this, and I will be posting this video to YouTube as well. So if anyone has any thoughts on this at all, please feel free to whack it in the comments below. I would love to hear from people about this. I'd like to know what they think would make a good D&D event. Because I'm kind of at this point, I'm just open to suggestions and throwing ideas around. Like this was only suggested to me late yesterday. So yeah, it could be cool. Ian Christensen says, sorry, I mentioned Dread because I thought we were talking about a live. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant like you play it online live. Like I'm live, but I'm on. Never mind. My fault, not yours, mate. Keegan says, what's the topic? Well, I was talking about an event that I'm going to be setting up, a live event, and I'd like to know what people in the community want from such an event. What would you want if you had to, if you had to leave your house to go somewhere to play D&D, what would you want it to be, you know? For those of you just arriving, check out this video later because I'm going to quickly broach another topic. It's a bit of a mishmash. I just wanted to hang out for a little bit with you guys and talk about the next thing. And it's funny, actually, because just before I was going live, I saw that Marquise posted, from a point of inspiration, his new primer, their new primer for their setting that was going to be Al-Qadim, but is now Subari, I think it's called. And I actually wanted to talk to you guys about primers. I wanted to talk to you about these things because I have long considered putting together a Nine Kingdoms / Lorekeepers primer to put out to see if people would be interested in actually having like a PDF with the setting so they can run the setting. Do you know what I mean? And I thought before I go ahead and do it, I should probably see if people would be interested in that, because, well, you might not be interested in it, as simple as. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that and what I would include in such a thing to make it, like, what does it need to be like to want to make people want to like look into it, you know? So I'm gonna have a sip of tea, then I'll start talking about it. Ian says a personal hygiene class. Luke Clinton Gallagher, hey man, how's it going? Says clearly we all need to reinvent old settings. Well, I mean, that is the spikes of creativity, isn't it? It's about augmenting ideas that came before you. Old Saturday serials became Star Wars, you know? Like, that's just what storytelling is. It's the passing down of different ideas and concepts. And so Marquise is good to do that, I think, and I applaud him for taking it on as his own thing, you know. Lloyd says, "Gimme dank witch hunter archetype, son." Yeah, like that's something that I think I would probably focus on is to give a little bit of mechanics, a bit more mechanical basis to the Nine Kingdoms, I guess. Like I'd like to basically the Nine Kingdoms exists in a collection of documents that's just on my laptop. Okay, I back up, don't worry, but that's where it is. And for ages and ages and ages, like I've put off organizing it and actually making it look presentable and you know like having it like be a proper journal. And I thought, well, then that's just making a primer. So why don't I ask everyone if they'd be interested in seeing something like that? Lloyd says, here's my take on primers. What are you adding? Is it just lore? People want mechanics most of the time, differentiate the setting from others, archetypes, alternate rules, etc. Absolutely. Like, I think with this, it would be, yeah, like you mentioned there, like the first thing that crossed my mind, or one of the first things would be, is absolutely the witch hunters would have their own thing. Drawing from the Vengeance Paladin and the Blood Hunter, I think, from Matt Mercer. That is probably where I would go with it. Basically, take Marius's character sheet and just glue it in. That's what I'd do. I'd also have a thing to do with the Lorekeepers as well. I think it would be mainly. So that's why I'm still talking. Yay, and I'm back. My goodness me, the router is there. What is wrong? So that's what I was saying. So I would focus primarily, I think, to begin with, on the Lorekeepers because there's a lot of lore in there, but they are also their own faction. Like You know what I mean? Like, and in there I could include details about the Nine Kingdoms. I'm back. That is crazy. That is crazy. That's like, that's really bad. I'm very sorry. I do apologize about the shoddy internet. So, again, as I was saying, I would focus on the Lorekeepers. There's a lot of lore back there, but they are also their own factions. So I would give the mechanics that I do have, I would basically throw in and sort of ask people to play them, test them out, see what they think. Which I think would be really cool. I would love to see like a Lorekeepers kind of like pantheon of different legends as well that have just existed throughout their time, and ones that they've created themselves. Uh, Keegan says it would be interesting setting. It would be an interesting setting, and as a DM myself, I want to see when I run a game is the ability to change stats when I have players that want to jump in the campaign, but are somewhat behind a few levels, so they aren't killed in the next battle on the mechanics side. Um, Okay, well, I mean, the way that I've run Lorekeepers, I mean, like they're what? They're level 5. They've already gone up against a Hydra and a Kraken and Mind Flayers. Like there are, I, I mean, I've statted all of those creatures faithfully to how they are presented in the monster manual. But like, end of the day, if you have smart players and you're telling like a cool narrative thing, like I don't think you need to worry about that too much. And I think I might make that another focus on this is the fact that the Lorekeepers, like, it's totally meta in the sense that you're telling a story in a story, like, so it lends itself to like the telling the story rather than the mechanical side. But I would want a lot of I love my crunch. I love crunch. So yeah, I guess that would be in it too. But I'd like to get people's thoughts on that. Like, I've been vaguely drawing up a map as well, which has been interesting. Um, as I've said on these things before, like if I'm running a game like where like I'm at a table with people in real life, say in real life, in person, um, the first thing I give to them is a map. Like they discover a map in the first session every time. And it's to give them an idea of what's ahead. Like it's a great way of opening a campaign. It gets people excited. It makes them think, "Wow, there's this whole world that we have to explore." As you open the campaign, and the Lorekeepers is the first time I didn't do this because I wanted that flexibility. I didn't want to have everything in one place because it builds as it goes. Um, I know where there are a few things in Far Wider than Nine Kingdoms, but it's been interesting starting to map it, and I'm like, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff that I need to map in this. Like, it's a big place. And only now that I'm starting to like bring all my notes together, start drawing the map and stuff, I'm like, this is actually like a much. I mean, I imagined thinking of all of my collective content about the Nine Kingdoms, I imagined it to be like modest. But then I looked at my I've got and like, what I'm proposing, and I'm like, this is huge. So it's kind of made me want to do it now. Um, so yeah, Keegan then says that is true. I seem to have overlooked the aspect of smart players. Well, no, it's just a different play style, man. I'm not saying that you're stupid if you don't do that. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. Like, um, I think it obviously depends on the running. It depends what you want to run, like, and you run it by your players. Uh, Barker, hey man, Barker's here. He says also, Keegan, nothing is too powerful when you are the arbiter of power in the world. Lower monster HP, raise monster damage texture, your thing, and see what happens. Do your thing and see what happens. Absolutely right. There you go. Um, should go and check Lloyd's thing if you want fights to be even harder. Check out what Lloyd's been releasing lately because that shit's crazy. So yeah, that's I've covered an awful lot. So more videos coming on performance check. If you would like to give me any thoughts of what you would like to see from a D&D and role-playing game based event that you would attend locally, I want to know what kind of event you would go to. It would be really helpful for me. I would really appreciate it. And also, what would your thoughts be on the Nine Kingdoms as like a as a primer? Like, would it be a setting that you would be interested in running in? I would not be offended if the answer is no. I'm just working out, you know, is it worth putting my time into it? You know what I mean? Aside from focusing on the Lorekeepers game, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think that's it. But thank you ever so much for everyone who've watched. I really appreciate this. I'm gonna whack this onto YouTube, and if you're watching on YouTube, if you like this video, give it a like. If you'd like to see more like it, then give me a subscribe or not. We are all friends here, or are we? Thanks for watching, and I hope that all of your performances, I'm finding my mouse, there it is. I hope that all of your performances are up to standard. Ka-chow!